Losing a spouse is one of the most heartbreaking experiences anyone can endure. It's not just the emotional toll of grief, it's the overwhelming wave of decisions that suddenly rest on your shoulders. In these difficult moments, it's easy to make choices based on pain, loneliness, or pressure from others. However, some decisions can lead to lasting regrets, financial hardship, or even emotional setbacks that make the healing process even more challenging. The reality is, while grief is deeply personal, there are certain choices you should always reconsider before agreeing to. In this video, we'll uncover 5 crucial things you should say no to after losing a spouse. Common mistakes that many people unknowingly make, only to later realize they weren't truly prepared. These missteps can turn an already painful time into an even more complicated struggle. But by being aware of them in advance, you can safeguard your emotional, financial, and overall well-being. Make sure to stay with me until the end, because these insights aren't just about avoiding regrets. They're about helping you move forward with clarity, strength, and the support you truly deserve. Number 1. Withdrawing from friends and family. After losing a spouse, it's natural to crave solitude. Grief is deeply personal, and sometimes, being alone feels like the only way to process the pain. While taking time for yourself is important, completely shutting out friends and family can lead to an even deeper sense of loneliness, one that makes healing even more difficult. Many people convince themselves that they just need more time, but isolation can quickly become a habit that's hard to break. Human connection is essential for emotional well-being, especially during times of loss. When people withdraw for too long, they often experience increased sadness, anxiety, and even physical health issues. Studies have shown that prolonged isolation can weaken the immune system, raise blood pressure, and even reduce lifespan. On the other hand, staying connected, even in small ways, can help lighten the emotional load and provide much-needed support. Take the case of 78-year-old Walter. When his wife of 52 years passed away, he stopped returning calls, skipped family gatherings, and rarely left the house. He told himself he just wasn't in the mood to talk, that no one could truly understand his grief, and that being alone was easier. Months passed, but instead of finding peace, he felt worse. His days blurred together, his energy dropped, and even his appetite changed. It wasn't until a neighbor insisted he come over for coffee that something shifted. That one conversation became a weekly habit, then a small routine of meeting up with friends. The more he engaged, the lighter he felt. Not because his pain disappeared, but because he realized he wasn't alone in carrying it. The key isn't to force yourself into large social settings before you're ready. It's about taking small steps to stay connected. Whether it's answering a phone call, going for a short walk with a friend, or even joining a grief support group, these little efforts can help prevent deep loneliness. If you don't feel like talking, that's okay. Simply being around others, even just listening, can remind you that life goes on and that support is available when you need it. Another common mistake is pushing away those who care most. Grief can bring irritability, exhaustion, or the feeling that no one truly understands what you're going through. But shutting people out completely can create unnecessary distance between you and those who genuinely want to help. Your loved ones may not always have the right words, but their presence alone can make a difference. Letting them in, little by little, can provide comfort even when words fail. It's also important to seek support from those who truly understand your experience. Connecting with others who have been through similar loss, whether through a support group, a local gathering, or even an online forum, can be incredibly healing. Talking to people who truly understand can validate your feelings and reassure you that you're not alone. Grief doesn't follow a timeline, and there's no right way to heal, but staying isolated only makes the journey harder. Finding small ways to reconnect with others at your own pace can bring strength, support, and even unexpected moments of peace. You don't have to carry the weight of loss alone. There are people who care, who want to be there for you, and who can help you move forward one step at a time. Number 2, making big financial decisions too soon. One of the most common mistakes people make after losing a spouse is rushing into major financial decisions. It's understandable. Suddenly you're faced with bank accounts, insurance policies, investments, and possibly even the question of whether to keep or sell your home. In the midst of grief, it can feel like taking immediate action will provide stability or a sense of control. But the reality is, grief clouds judgment, and making irreversible financial choices too soon can lead to regrets down the road. When emotions are running high, decisions that seem logical in the moment might not be the best for the long term. Many widows and widowers feel pressured by well-meaning friends, financial advisors, or even their own sense of urgency to sell their house, move to a new location, or make large investments. But the months after losing a spouse are a time of emotional adjustment, not financial risk-taking. The smartest move you can make is to pause. Give yourself time to process your loss before making choices that could affect the rest of your life. Take the case of 74-year-old Margaret. After losing her husband, she was told by multiple people that she should downsize her home immediately. The idea made sense. Less space to maintain, lower expenses, and a fresh start. So within a few months, she sold the house they had lived in for 40 years and moved into a smaller apartment in a different town. But once the shock of loss settled, she realized she had made a decision out of panic. She missed her familiar surroundings, her neighbors, and the sense of comfort her home provided. In hindsight, she wished she had waited longer before making such a big move. Financial decisions don't just involve real estate. Many newly widowed individuals are targeted by financial predators, people who see vulnerability as an opportunity. Whether it's unsolicited investment opportunities, high-pressure sales tactics, or even well-intentioned but uninformed advice from friends, it's crucial to be cautious. If someone is urging you to sign papers, make a major withdrawal, or invest in something quickly, take a step back. The best financial decisions are rarely the ones made in a rush. Another common mistake is giving away money or assets too quickly. Grief often brings a strong desire to help others, children, grandchildren, charities, or close friends. While generosity is a wonderful thing, making large financial gifts or dividing assets prematurely can leave you in a vulnerable position later on. What seems manageable in the moment might not be sustainable in the years ahead. Before making any major financial moves, it's best to consult with a trusted professional who understands your long-term needs and can help you plan wisely. The first year after losing a spouse should be about stabilization, not drastic financial changes. Experts often recommend the one-year rule, which suggests waiting at least a year before making any irreversible financial decisions. This allows time for the initial emotional shock to pass and for you to think clearly about what's truly best for your future. Losing a spouse is already one of life's most difficult transitions. The last thing you need is added stress from financial missteps that could have been avoided. Take your time, seek trusted guidance, and remember, there's no rush. The best decisions are made with clarity, not grief. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any future videos. Your support allows us to continue creating meaningful content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, ignoring your own health and well-being. When a spouse passes away, many people find themselves so consumed by grief that they stop paying attention to their own health. It's easy to put off doctor's appointments, skip meals, or let daily routines slip when you're dealing with loss. Some people even feel guilty about taking care of themselves, as if prioritizing their health somehow diminishes the depth of their love or grief. But the reality is, neglecting your well-being doesn't bring you closer to the one you lost. It only makes your journey forward harder. Grief affects the body in ways many people don't realize. Studies show that losing a spouse increases the risk of heart problems, weakened immune function, and even cognitive decline. The stress of grief can lead to high blood pressure, disrupted sleep, and changes in appetite. Some people lose interest in eating, while others turn to unhealthy comfort foods. Over time, these changes can take a serious toll on both physical and mental health. The key is not to expect yourself to feel normal overnight, but to make small choices that help your body stay strong as you navigate this difficult time. Take the case of 81-year-old James. After his wife passed, he stopped cooking meals for himself. He told himself he just wasn't hungry, and when he did eat, it was usually something quick and processed. Within a few months, he started feeling weaker, had trouble sleeping, and felt constantly fatigued. His daughter noticed the change and encouraged him to start eating regular meals again, even if he didn't have an appetite. Once he made small adjustments, like preparing simple, nutritious foods and drinking more water, he found that his energy levels improved, his mood stabilized, and he was better equipped to handle the emotions that came with grief. Self-care isn't just about food. It includes movement, sleep, and emotional health. Many people who lose a spouse stop exercising, not because they don't want to stay active, but because they no longer have someone to do it with. But staying physically active, even if it's just a short daily walk, has been shown to reduce stress, boost mood, and even improve longevity. In some cases, joining a local walking group or exercise class can provide both physical benefits and much-needed social connection. Another common mistake is neglecting medical checkups. Many widows and widowers skip routine doctor visits or delay seeking medical care because they feel too overwhelmed. But this is the time when taking care of your health is more important than ever. If you haven't been to the doctor in a while, make an appointment. Getting regular checkups, managing existing health conditions, and staying on top of medications can make a significant difference in how you feel physically and emotionally. Mental health is just as important as physical health. Grief can lead to depression, anxiety, and even feelings of hopelessness, especially when combined with isolation. If you're struggling, don't hesitate to reach out for help. Speaking with a counselor, joining a grief support group, or even just opening up to a trusted friend can provide relief and reassurance. You don't have to go through this alone, and seeking support is not a sign of weakness. It's a step toward healing. Your spouse would have wanted you to take care of yourself. Honoring their memory doesn't mean sacrificing your well-being. It means continuing to live in a way that allows you to find moments of peace and strength. It's okay to grieve, to take your time, and to feel the weight of loss. But in the midst of it all, remember that your health still matters. You are still here, and your well-being is worth protecting. Number 4, jumping into a new relationship. Too soon, losing a spouse creates an emotional void that can feel impossible to fill. For many, the loneliness that follows is one of the most difficult parts of grief, and the thought of finding companionship again may seem like the only way to cope. While there's nothing wrong with wanting connection, one of the most common mistakes widows and widowers make is rushing into a new relationship before they've fully processed their grief. The emotions of loss often create a deep longing for comfort, but making major romantic decisions too soon can bring more heartache, confusion, and regret. Grief doesn't follow a set timeline, and everyone heals in their own way. Some people take years before even considering dating again, while others feel ready sooner. But when emotions are raw, the risk of entering a relationship for the wrong reasons increases. Many people unknowingly seek out a partner, not because they are truly ready, but because they are trying to replace what was lost, avoid loneliness, or escape the pain. These relationships often begin with strong emotions, but lack the foundation needed for long-term stability. Take the case of 72-year-old Barbara. Just months after losing her husband of nearly 50 years, she met someone through a mutual friend and quickly entered a relationship. At first, it felt like exactly what she needed: someone to talk to, share meals with, and distract her from the overwhelming loneliness. But as time went on, she realized she wasn't truly ready. The relationship moved faster than she had anticipated, and soon she felt stuck in something that didn't feel right. Eventually, she had to step away and focus on her own healing. But in hindsight, she wished she had given herself more time before making such a big decision. A new relationship should be about genuine connection, not just emotional relief. When someone has spent decades with a spouse, the shared habits, routines, and memories become deeply ingrained. Jumping into a new relationship before processing that loss can lead to unfair comparisons, unrealistic expectations, and feelings of guilt. Many widows and widowers struggle with conflicting emotions, wanting to move forward while feeling as though they are betraying the person they lost. These feelings are completely natural, but they need to be acknowledged and worked through before stepping into something new. Another concern is being vulnerable to those with bad intentions. Sadly, there are people who take advantage of grieving individuals, offering emotional support only to manipulate or exploit them financially. Scammers and even well-meaning but opportunistic individuals often seek out widowed seniors, knowing they may be emotionally fragile and in need of companionship. This is why it's crucial to trust your instincts and take your time. If someone is pressuring you to commit quickly, make financial decisions, or distance yourself from friends and family, those are red flags that shouldn't be ignored. This doesn't mean you should avoid love or companionship forever. Many widows and widowers go on to find meaningful relationships later in life, but the healthiest and most fulfilling ones happen when both individuals are truly ready, when the decision is made from a place of healing, not desperation. Time and self-reflection are key. Taking the time to grieve, rediscover personal identity, and find peace in being alone before seeking a new partner makes a significant difference. If you do decide to date again, go at your own pace. Take the time to understand what you truly want in a relationship and make sure you're entering it for the right reasons. Talk with trusted friends or family members about your feelings, and don't feel pressured by anyone's opinions, whether they believe it's too soon or that you shouldn't be alone. This is your journey, and only you can determine when the time is right. At the end of the day, grief and healing are deeply personal experiences. There is no rush, no deadline, and no rule book. The most important thing is to take care of yourself first, so that if and when the time comes, any new relationship you enter is built on a foundation of strength, peace, and true companionship. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, holding on to every possession without letting go. One of the most difficult challenges after losing a spouse is deciding what to do with their belongings. Every item carries memories, and the idea of letting go can feel like losing them all over again. Many widows and widowers struggle with this, keeping every piece of clothing, every cherished item, and every small belonging exactly as it was, afraid that making changes means erasing the life they shared. While it's completely understandable to hold on, keeping everything indefinitely can sometimes make grief even heavier, preventing emotional healing and the ability to move forward. Holding on to sentimental items is natural. There's no rule that says you must get rid of everything. But leaving an entire home untouched for years, keeping a closet frozen in time, or avoiding any changes can turn a home into a shrine of sorrow rather than a place of comfort. Instead of bringing peace, it can serve as a daily reminder of what has been lost, making it even harder to adjust to a new chapter in life. Consider the story of 76-year-old Harold. After his wife of 55 years passed away, he left everything exactly as she had. Her shoes remained by the door, her clothes hung untouched in the closet, and her favorite chair sat just as she left it. At first, it gave him comfort, a way to keep her presence close. But as months passed, he realized that seeing her belongings unchanged every day was keeping him emotionally stuck. He wasn't ready to part with everything, but when he slowly started donating some items while keeping a few deeply meaningful ones, he felt a sense of relief. It wasn't about forgetting, it was about creating space for healing. Letting go does not mean forgetting or loving less. It means allowing yourself room to breathe. Instead of forcing sudden changes, start small. Choose a few treasured keepsakes, a piece of jewelry, a handwritten letter, a favorite photograph, and create a special space for them. When you feel ready, begin sorting through other belongings, deciding what truly holds meaning and what is simply taking up space. Another common challenge is feeling pressured by others to get rid of things before you're ready. Well-meaning friends or family members may suggest that you should clear things out or move on, but this is a deeply personal decision that should happen on your own timeline. If you're not ready, don't rush. At the same time, be mindful that holding on to everything out of guilt or fear may be prolonging your grief rather than helping you heal. There is also an emotional balance in repurposing rather than just removing. Some find comfort in turning an old shirt into a quilt, preserving handwritten notes in a memory book, or passing sentimental items down to loved ones who will cherish them. This allows their presence to remain but in a way that brings warmth instead of just sorrow. Ultimately, grief isn't about things. It's about love, memories, and the bond you shared. No object can replace a person, but clinging to every belonging won't bring them back either. Letting go, even in small and thoughtful ways, is not an act of forgetting. It's a step toward honoring their memory while also creating space for your own healing. Moving forward doesn't mean leaving them behind. It simply means carrying them with you in a way that allows both love and life to coexist. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, comment number 5 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and turn on notifications so you won't miss future videos. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Final thoughts. Losing a spouse is one of life's deepest and most painful experiences. It changes everything: the way you live, the way you think, and even the way you envision the future. But in the midst of grief, it's important to recognize that every decision you make during this time has the power to either support or hinder your healing. That's why avoiding these 5 common mistakes, making rushed financial choices, withdrawing from others, neglecting your well-being, entering a new relationship too soon, and holding on to everything without allowing space for change, can make a meaningful difference in your ability to move forward with strength and clarity. Grief doesn't follow a set timeline, and there's no single right way to process it. But one thing remains true: being mindful of these pitfalls can help you navigate this difficult chapter in a way that protects both your heart and your future. Healing does not mean forgetting, and moving forward does not mean leaving your spouse behind. It means honoring their memory in a way that allows you to continue living with meaning, peace, and even joy in the moments ahead. Which of these insights resonated with you the most? Which one do you feel is most important for your own healing journey? We'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below and share one takeaway from today's video, something you learned, and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your voice matters, and your experiences may help others going through the same journey. Reading your comments gives us motivation and encouragement, so don't hesitate to share. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who may benefit. Your support allows us to continue creating meaningful content that informs and inspires. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.